Tonight on the Local Live, residents express concerns of the Mamaroneck Village membership club law. The MHS boys tennis doubles team wins at states. The Marine Education Center is revamped and open for all. And on tonight's roundtable, we look at cybersecurity. Good evening, it's Thursday, June 7th. I'm Maral Kethwari. Welcome to the Local Live. The Mamaroneck Village proposed local law to change zoning membership clubs in the Marine Recreation District at an impasse. The last village board meeting, 2 residents said the board did not take care to consult the public when drafting the law and asked for the law to be scrapped.
You, Board of Trustees, actually represent the residents of the village of Mamaroneck. You don't represent a small number of clubs. Yet not once did you ask Mr. Spalzino to reach out to any community group. The existing statute is not perfect, but you've now gone away from trying to fix the problems of the member-non-member event issue and dropped a huge windfall into the laps of the commercial clubs.
Hearing tonight that council has met with attorneys for the clubs, it becomes crystal clear how we ended up with this proposed law. The effects on residents are not reflected in the proposed law. You're essentially changing the zoning to now allow these clubs to operate as commercial enterprises in the MR zone.
Mayor Tom Murphy said the board, quote, may have very well gone down the wrong path, end quote, and suggested that the law go back to the drawing board. Did you know that Hoyt Avenue in Mamaroneck Village is named after a resident who served and died in the Civil War? The Larchmont Historical Fire Company appeared before the Mamaroneck Village Board last month to ask for the rededication of Hoyt Avenue in honor of Corporal Nicholas H. Hoyt and his family. They also presented a commemoration of all 60 local Civil War veterans whose service had been largely forgotten. Information on these individuals came from recently digitized military records and other town records.
I've got 2 maps for you. One street map was depicted in 1872, and if you look across the top, it says Hoyt Avenue, 1872. But down below is another map from 1867. Guess what's not there? Hoyt Avenue is not there. We believe that Hoyt Avenue was created and named after Nicholas Hoyt. And then, in the manner of the record problems that have been discussed, I mean, somehow this was forgotten. And so, our request is that you initiate a study with an eye towards rededicating Hoyt Avenue to Nicholas Hoyt and his family, and taking any other such steps as would be appropriate to honor Nicholas Hoyt, and eventually, together with the other governments, because the Big 60 is probably a town-wide enterprise, but we need to think about how we would like to celebrate their service to our country as well.
Corporal Hoyt, born in Mamaroneck, was a fisherman who enlisted in the New York 5th Infantry in 1861. The uniforms of the Larchmont Historical Fire Company are modeled after those of this unit, which recruited many members in southern Westchester. Hoyt died after the Battle of Fredericksburg and is buried in Virginia. His wife, Susan, remained in Mamaroneck. On Monday evening, the Westchester County Board of Legislators voted to raise the age to buy tobacco and vaping products from 18 to 21. County lawmakers said raising the age will reduce how many people become regular smokers or become addicted to vaping products, which can have higher levels of nicotine than cigarettes. On Wednesday, Westchester County Executive George Latimer had this to say before signing the bill into law.
Effort to discourage its use is critical. And the reason why is not because of what happens to them when they light up at 14, but what happens when they can't stop lighting up at 55 and 62 and 68, like my mom. When it becomes such an addiction and you can't break it, but the damage you're doing to yourself is so great. So where people might expect that a law may not change human hearts, a law can make it more difficult for that process to start. It can make it more difficult for that process to advance. And some of us may live 40, 50 more years. I don't expect to be one of us. But somebody today is going to find it harder to get the tobacco product because of this law. And because it's harder for them to get it now, somewhere 50 years down the road, when they've aged and they never picked up the habit and they live longer lives, then you will understand why this law was important.
Is your teen interested in film? Then LMC TV's workshop is just for them. Teens write, act, direct, and edit their own films. It's a full filmmaking experience you won't get anywhere else. Our workshop has limited space, so sign your teen up today for a fun, enriching experience. LMC TV, where creativity and community come together.
Here is Mike Wish, who will discuss cybersecurity in tonight's roundtable.
Thank you, Moral. Welcome to tonight's roundtable. I am Michael Witch. We live in a highly connected but digitally exhausting world. That's not an original line. I found that while I was doing some research for tonight's topic, which is cybersecurity. And this is security not just for businesses, but for you, for the senior citizen who shops and likes to visit websites, and for you, the student out there who is on your social media device all the time, and even for you, hardworking corporate executive mom who just got home from New York City and is struggling to make dinner and deal with the family. It's for everybody, and I've got two special guests tonight, Oscar Capel and Jamie Ortega. And I'm going to ask them to introduce themselves and talk a little bit about the company that they work for. Oscar, you're first.
Sure. My name is Oscar Capel. I'm an associate with ID Shield. ID Shield is part of Kroll. Kroll is the largest risk management company in the world. So my job is to inform and educate people on what identity theft is, the risks that are involved, what to do if you have your identity stolen, and my focus now is on elder scams and identity theft.
Okay. Jamie.
Jamie Ortega, Digital Chair is my company. Founder and CEO. I've been running it for almost 4 years now, in June actually, June 24th. And we're a digital marketing agency. We're very technology focused. And a big topic that we find dear to our hearts is security, because there's so much security and there's so many things that businesses need to know about security when it comes to marketing online to do so efficiently, be compliant, and keep their consumers and customers' information safe.
And I'd like to tell the audience that you are in the current issue of 914 as a wonderkind.
Yep.
So congratulations for this little bit of publicity here.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the need for security and the concept of the internet is an unsafe place. Was it designed to be safe, or is it just because of its explosive growth with computers and people online that we have all these opportunities for mayhem?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It grew so fast and without checks and balances. So there are people that exploit all the different ways that you can get in and hack and use it for nefarious reasons. You know, we use it to search for things online. They use it to get your information and sell it and make money that way. So it's too big to guard now.
It is. So we can't ever be 100% security safe, Jamie?
Not right now. So the internet was originally created to be a small way to communicate. It blew up. There's been a lot of changes going from IPv4 to IPv6 to try to even expand and maintain the growth that it has.
What's IPv?
So the IPs that we used, we ran out. And now we need more. We need billions more to handle the amount of people, because when we originally designed the internet, well, we, as humans, we didn't expect this many people to have this many devices that are all connected. And so different pieces of the internet have had to grow with the internet, and we continue to grow, but as we continue to grow, there's still parts that are antiquated and insecure, like email. The internet, we're still at, I think, 60% roughly of the internet is secured with security certificates, and there's a lot of other gaping holes that cause a lot of trouble.
I want to pause now to just remind the audience, this is a live segment, so if you've got a question about security on your own computer or your own mobile device, if you've ever had your business hacked, your website that is, or you just have a general concern about privacy, now's the time to call. The number for phone calls is on the screen, as well as the email address during the course of our conversation. What do you see as the top challenges coming up on cybersecurity?
Well, as Jamie says, the internet is not what it's supposed to be to protect us. So the challenges I see as, and yet when I'm doing an elder scam, is that older people are not tech savvy, so they're being taken advantage of in that way. And also with elder scam, you see people that are being targeted just because, you know, in all the different ways that are being targeted, you get a phone call that, you know, grandson needs money, or you know, ICE is after you, and usually these kind of scams are for getting money right away, and that's a scam as opposed to identity theft through the internet, which is a lot different.
Jamie, what's the business challenge?
The business
Can
challenge.
you identify one?
Sure. I think people don't know what they need to be compliant with to make their websites and their companies secure. And as people might not even know, when there is a security breach, it could be a business terminating event. And if you're not compliant, that's just going to cause more and more issues once you have the spotlight in your face.
Okay, well, we're going to take a little break, and when we come back, you're going to provide some answers about what we can do to avoid what you just talked about. We'll be right back after this word. Welcome back to the Roundtable. Tonight we're talking about cybersecurity, and my guest is Oscar Capel and Jamie Ortega, and we're talking about personal internet safety and business internet safety. And Oscar, you mentioned elderly people as not being so tech savvy. I've taken a few classes at the Apple store up in Greenwich, and most of the people who are at those classes are my age or older. And sometimes you just get that big confused look on their face, like, what the heck? And it's not just the computer, it's also the iPad, the iPhone that they come for. And since they're all interconnected, does that multiply the risk?
Yeah, now we're calling it the Internet of Everything, because at this point your refrigerator can let you know that you need milk. So all of this is connected to the internet. And that's where the problem is. There's, like we said earlier, there's just way too many things connected.
Does that mean that there's a lot of information about you that these devices are collecting? Is that the part of the problem? Or?
Well, the biggest problem is devices are collecting information, businesses are collecting information, everything's going on a cloud, and then you have people that just hack into that, and that's what we call a data breach, and that's something we can't prevent. Whereas scams, we can, you know, with education, you basically can see it coming. But when there's a data breach, now all bets are off because information is being taken on a massive scale. Equifax, the latest numbers are 153 million records. That's basically half of the United States.
You're making me sweat a little bit here. It's not the lights.
Well, if you knew what I knew, you'd be even more afraid.
Well, before we go on, I want to mention that you're going to be doing a workshop at Mamaroneck Library.
Yes.
On June 27th at 6:30 to 7:30. I think we even have a a poster for it that we can flash up on the screen.
Yes.
And it's on identity theft and elder scam.
Right. I'm
and
going
is
to
it
be
just
going
for
into
us seniors, or?
No, it's for everyone. Well, like I said, my job is to educate people on what identity theft is.
Right.
If you see the commercial on TV, they just focus on the financial. And I say, you know, when all you have is a hammer, the world looks like a nail. So they're going to just tell you about their financial, how they can do financial. But there's Social Security, there's driver's license, there's passports, everything is being taken, and they're setting up synthetic identity theft, which is they take your Social Security number, Jamie's medical records, and my driver's license, package that and sell that as a new identity. So that hits the market, and when someone uses that in a crime, they will be coming after us instead of the people that perpetrated it.
Well, you've got some concrete ideas that you can give people, or some solutions, right?
Yes.
Hang on to that. I want to ask Jamie for a second. What happens when a business website is hacked?
A number of things could happen. It could be as simple as, you know, they tried to hack and they couldn't really do much. They were able to maybe, you know, use it as a way to show some new information and change some things and access from another website through your website a customer and maybe spoof something. Or it could be something worse where...
So it's not just embarrassing the company.
Well, that would be the smallest thing usually.
Okay.
The worst thing is they actually access the database, they breach the records, they get passwords, they get credit cards, they get Social Security numbers, they get all the information from all their customers, and they use it.
And to do what?
You can sell it on the
products?
black market.
Right.
So each piece has a different price to it depending on the user and the person that is and how much information you have tied to it. So that's one way to do it. They could use it themselves for whatever they're trying to do.
Now we're talking about hackers. Are all hackers bad hackers?
No. No, so there's good hackers.
Yeah.
There's white hat hackers. There's the hackers that go in and do penetration testing that actually test against businesses, you know, security protocols and test whether or not the employees at the business are
the weak part
up to date on, you know, how to protect people's information. And those are good. I know a company that I work with closely that does that, and they're an IT managed service provider that helps businesses all over the country make sure that they're secure, make sure that they're compliant.
We've got a question that came in. I'm going to read it from our prompter. Okay. It says, what can police do when you have a cyber stalker that has your information? You look stumped. Can police do anything?
That's, you know, it's a strange question. Well, what could the police do if, you know, anyone is stalking you? They're limited until the crime is committed, you know, for them to do something. You're being cyber stalked. You know, who is the person stalking you? How do the police find out who that person is? Are they even in this country?
Are police today, for instance, our village police, town police, are they equipped to handle cyber breaches, or do they go to a higher authority for
You probably have to ask,
expertise?
the head of the police here at Mamaroneck. There are different sites available only to law enforcement. That it's the data of the compiled data of every kind of security problem, and then they can look there. But I don't have access to it, but they can.
Okay. Any words on the police involvement?
I don't know what their capabilities are, but I know that there are businesses that are out there, private investigators, technology, resources that are available to get more information and be able to trace back and find out the identity of those people in some cases, and then act upon that if,
But of course, you'd rather see it not happen in the first place.
Right.
Okay. We're going to take another little break, and when we come back, you've got some advice you can offer people, and I'm sure you've got some for businesses, and we'll be right back after this word.
Did you know that if you missed the last government meeting, you can watch it on our website? Just go to lmctv.org, click on videos, then click on municipal meetings, scroll down to find the meeting you want, or use the search function in the upper right corner and type in the name or date of the meeting. Then watch. You can see the full agenda and jump to a specific agenda item. It's all a click away at lmctv.org.
We're back at the round table. We're going to finish up a discussion of cybersecurity. So if you've got a question about your own personal security with the internet or your child's workings with the internet or social media, or you've got a business that has unfortunately been hacked sometime, now is the time to call. We've got about 6 minutes left. And my guests are Oscar Capel and Jamie Ortega. So, Elder, give us some advice.
Okay.
What can people do?
What you can do, you take proactive actions. This is from the National Council on Aging. It's top 10 senior financial scams. And I pretty much tell people that sit with your elder folks, and if you're going to give grandpa, look, I got you the internet, you have to do a little cybersecurity, like, don't do this. These are just the top 10 scams. The FBI is, on February 22nd, launched a huge operation to try to cut down on elder scams. And that's what you can do for, trying to
be aware.
To prepare yourself, right?
But be aware of what some of these scams are.
Right. That's the scams. And like I said, the distinction between a scam and a security breach, where you have all this information being taken, there's nothing that we can do to prevent that. At that point, it becomes recovery. And you need a company that'll go in and reset your identity to what it was pre-theft.
Jamie?
So
business-wise,
the big thing is really, at this point, it's impossible to avoid getting hacked, right? But there's a lot of ways that you can prevent a lot of it, and you can protect your company and shield it and be as, ethically responsible as you can. To be in compliant with things like the GDPR, which a lot of U.S. businesses don't know that affects them.
You got to say what the GDPR is.
It's a European piece of legislation that just went into effect about a week and a half ago now, week and a half ago. And it's in relation to publicly identifiable information, in relation to the civil rights of people to protect their information online. And a lot of companies should be compliant with this and aren't even aware of it. And companies that work with other companies that have European citizens as clients might have to be compliant. It's all about really just protecting pieces of information. So something like having a security certificate on your site, that's mandatory now. If you have any information going through your site, you have to have that. In the US, there's a free service that's sponsored by all the big companies, Microsoft, Google, Apple, et cetera, and it lets you get a security certificate for free. It's called Let's Encrypt. Another thing is just going through and reviewing your policies and making sure that you have privacy policies and information around how you use and have the information on your site transferred. Because if you review it and you see, hey, I'm taking information that I don't need, you should probably avoid doing that, because there's an opportunity for that information to get exposed, and that makes your company liable. Just having stuff reviewed by experts, it's important. A lot of companies, whether it's an IT company, whether it's a company like mine that does marketing and technology, will review it, for free at a top level and be able to find a couple quick things and let you know, how safe your website is, how safe your company is. Yeah, I'll keep it brief. We'll stay.
That's okay. That's okay.
For more,
we can go
shoot
over.
me an email.
There's no limit. Well, there is a little bit of limit, but you mentioned something before about the cloud. For those who don't know what the cloud is, we're not talking about the weather. We're talking about a server somewhere.
It's a server somewhere that all the information goes into it. But what the cloud does is it doesn't limit your information to your physical computer.
Right.
Before, our laptop had everything in it. If you broke it, everything's gone. Now everything goes to the cloud, so you can access it from your phone or another device somewhere else. So that's all.
Is the
accessible.
cloud safe? Is it secure?
Jamie?
No, absolutely not.
Jamie says no.
No. Yeah. But yet, as an end user, I went to this class, I said it at the Apple store, and they said, oh, you have to have everything in the cloud. And the implication was, you don't have to worry about it, it's all safe. You also use the word encrypt.
Yeah.
Encryption is what, a special code that your information is to protect it against somebody.
So here's where the cloud becomes unsafe. The cloud itself might be really safe.
Yeah.
It's the transmission between the cloud and you where things can happen. So you putting in your password and your password getting intercepted because you're not encrypted, either your Wi-Fi is not encrypted, the website's not encrypted, there's just other pieces of unencrypted, stuff going in and out of your computer. There's keyloggers, there's all sorts of ways that your information can get breached between your computer and the cloud. So that's where the cloud becomes
Now
unsafe.
you're not going to sleep at night after both of us.
I'm already not sleeping, and it's not the coffee I had. A question came in. What are the good indications that a website may be unsecure?
That's Jamie's.
That's exciting. So come July, Google is making a very big push with Google Chrome, the browser that a lot of people use now. It has over 60+% market coverage. On the top left, it'll say not secure. It'll even have a little, so if you see a little green lock,
Yeah,
you
little
click
icon.
it and it says
looks like a
secure
lock.
right where the URL is on the top left.
Yeah.
And it says it's secure. That's an indication that it's not secure. So it still could be insecure. There still are other things on that website that could be insecure on the back end. But at least publicly facing, there you can click and see if it'll just tell you right off the bat, this is completely not secure. And if it is, don't put any information there at all.
No information.
No.
What about Facebook users? Should they be wary? I mean, Zuckerberg is saying one thing.
Yeah, we just found out that he sold even more information to, what's the Chinese company, the Z?
Which one?
There's a
Sold it, or it just got taken without his knowledge?
Let's say taken, but
Okay.
but it's kind of.
Facebook is like Microsoft, like Apple. It provides essentially a system now. So people put scams on there just like people put scams like, hey, download this, virus, download this, whatever. Facebook works the same way. People are putting in their information on, those forms and then sharing it. And when they were sharing it, it said on there, hey, we're gonna take your contact list and your messages, and we're gonna read your get your pictures and everything else. But no one reads it, and so Facebook isn't really to blame. But
Well, they actually said, by clicking I accept, you're allowing us to take all your information and give it to everyone in the world.
That's the tiny print that nobody reads because it goes on and on and on. A personal question. I use an iMac. Do I need to buy antivirus or protection from malware?
not really. What you should do is you should go, if you use Google Chrome, you should download something called uBlocker. It just gets rid of ads, and it protects you against a lot of things because a lot of the ads aren't regulated as much as they should be, and they could bring you out to other sites, and those other sites can have things
Malware
that
and viruses.
might, not necessarily be what you want to see and what, is as safe as it could be. So
Thank you for that tip. I think during the course of our conversation, we've had your name and your contact information up on the screen. So if people want to find out more, they should come to the Mamaroneck Library on June 27th. And Oscar, you're going to be doing that identity theft and elder scam workshop.
Correct. That's when I'll go into a lot of detail that we know that we can't cover now because of time. But I try to get as much as we can do to protect not only elders. Jamie's like the new generation coming up, and he's already grew up with technology. But as people age, they're not as I said, tech savvy, and I would fall for something that Jamie wouldn't.
I think most people my age would probably fall for stuff that I wouldn't do, though.
Yeah, you're special.
I thank both of you for coming on tonight, and we should do another show. We can talk some more about security. I think there's no end to what we need to be secure about.
Just touched on.
Thank you very much, and stay
us.
tuned. There's more of the Local Live coming up right now.
I'm a reporter, I'm a producer, I'm a writer.
I am a news anchor. I am a producer.
I am a news editor.
I am the technical director.
I am a reporter. I am an anchor.
I volunteer for the Local Live because I'm a proud resident of Larchmont and Mamaroneck, and I like to give back to the community.
I volunteer for the Local Live because I believe in bringing the news into your living room.
I volunteer for the Local Live because I believe in leadership, support, and success in a community.
I volunteer at the Local Live because it's a fun learning experience, and I know each week I come, I can learn something new.
I volunteer for the Local Live because I believe in community television.
As a spring intern at the Local Live, I learned new skills like video, editing, and production, and furthered my skills as a writer. The internship gave me confidence as I embarked on my journey through the world of journalism.
We are the Local Live.
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 Here is Nick Gutierrez with a roundup of the spring varsity playoffs.
Welcome back to the Local Live. I'm Nick Gutierrez. The spring high school playoffs have come to an end. Every team competing from Mamaroneck and Rhinebeck made themselves proud by the way their seasons played out. Let's take a look at how each team did in the playoffs, starting with the Rhinebeck baseball team. The Panthers were handed the 7th seed and had a cagey game against the Valhalla Vikings, which they won by a score of 1-0. Ace pitcher Connor Ligori was red hot from the mound, tossing a shutout, and was the player of the game. The Panthers' playoff dream came to an end in the second round, however, with a 3-2 10-inning defeat at the hands of Pleasantville. For the Mamaroneck Tigers, the playoffs ended up being a wild ride of emotions as they handily beat Yorktown in the 8-9 game to open up the postseason. That game followed with a seemingly impossible task of beating Class AA favorites RC Ketchum. The Tigers defied the odds and shut Ketchum out 4-0 thanks to their gunslinger Sacha Nambiar. The Tigers advanced all the way to the section final where they ultimately fell to Clarkstown South. They can hold their heads high as they put together a fantastic run, and they'll be back next season even more fired up. Moving over to the softball diamond, the Panthers are primed to clinch the championship this year and were handed the 1 seed in the Class B bracket. They subdued a good Hastings team 9-4 before rolling Valhalla 7-1 in the semifinal. Their season ended in heartbreaking fashion in a defeat to Westlake in the finals by a score of 3-0. On the lacrosse field, the Lady Tigers were handed the 2 seed and were poised to go far in this year's postseason. In their opening bout against New Rochelle, the Tigers cruised to an 18-4 victory. They comfortably beat Mahopac as well by a 5-goal margin, but were unable to defeat North Rockland in the championship game, falling 12-7. For the boys team was the top seed in the Class A bracket, and they wanted to flex their muscles on their way to a championship. They cruised in their first game against New Rochelle, beating them 15-3. The Tigers are crowned champions after comfortably defeating Lakeland Panis 15-9. Their illustrious run would come to an end in their quest for a state title as they were defeated by Niskayuna 14-13 in the regional finals. A bitter way to end the season, but the players can be content with ruling over the whole of Section 1 while they reload and prepare for another run at state champion next year. Also worth mentioning is the Mamaroneck softball team, who advanced to the section semifinals as the 4 seed. They fell to top-seeded John Jay East Fishkill 1-0 on a walk-off wild pitch. The Tigers returned several top players and should be in the hunt again next spring. And finally, a local state champion has been crowned. Mamaroneck sophomores Charlie Levison and Connor Aylett captured the Tigers' 3rd boys tennis doubles state title in the past 4 years. Charlie and Connor joined us earlier this week along with their coach, Tim Hooker. Let's hear from the newest local state champs.
It was kind of up and down. Like, we started with conferences, and we were like expecting to win conferences, sectionals, and states, and like start out strong. Like last year we won conferences and then lost sectionals, but this year we started out losing in conferences and placing 3rd. And I think that kind of helped us because it made us realize we need to work harder and stay like more focused than last year when we won conferences. We had too much confidence going into sectionals and states.
Yeah, I think one of the best things that happened to us was probably losing in conferences. After we lost the first set, we changed sides, and it definitely made a big difference for the rest of our season. After we switched sides, we ended up winning the second set 6-1, and even though we lost the tiebreak, it was a huge shift in like the way we played, and like even though it was uncomfortable at first, we definitely adjusted, and the next time we played the people we lost to, we beat them 6-3, 7-6. And I don't know if we could have won states if we didn't switch sides, so it was kind of a blessing in disguise losing.
Yeah, for me it was exciting because Super Bowl Sunday, I went out and took my father out to dinner, and he wanted to know about the boys because he knew they were coming back. And I said, I think they have a chance to get out to states again, you know. And when we were doing tryouts and practice indoors in March, Connor and Charlie were warming up and then playing each other. And I just, on the drive home that night, I said, these guys should go all the way, you know, they should get to the finals. So very gratifying, you know.
That will do it for this week, season, and school year in local high school sports. For the Local Live, I'm Nick Gutierrez.
The Marine Education Center is now open Wednesdays through Sundays from 9 a.m. until 4 p.m. And take a look at this recap of opening day.
It was a beautiful day at Harbor Island Park.
as the Marine Education Center opens for the community. People of all ages attended the opening of the center as it allows people to learn about the many aspects of marine biology within the harbor. We spoke with members of the community as they showed their excitement over the new education center.
Hi, it's a beautiful day at Harbor Island, the opening day for the Marine Education Center, which is one of the jewels of our town. We appreciate as a parent that we can take our kids after kickball, t-ball, baseball, and learn about what's going on in the harbor.
I really like seeing the shells near them inside. It's like fun seeing them close up with the magnifying glass.
I feel as if the Marine Educational Center in Mamaroneck is very, very helpful in letting our children know, especially about what goes on in our oceans, our rivers, and I feel as if that kids can learn something outside of school, that they can just come here and learn about all the sea creatures that go on.
If you have any time this year, please come down to Marina Education Center. Your children will enjoy it. If you don't have children, it's fun for kids of all ages.
For The Local Live, this is Hugo Sandoval.
LMC TV still has pieces left of their fundraising community mural. If you haven't contributed yet, here is some info on the mural. We'd love to have you help us along the way.
LMC TV would like to thank local artist Jamie Lynn at Made, an art studio in Mamaroneck, for creating a beautiful community mural. Place your piece in this mural by contributing to LMC TV, the community connection that brings you local board meetings, varsity sports, and your local news. Please contribute to this community mural by going to our website and clicking on Donate. Each contributor will be listed next to the mural when it is complete. We value your appreciation of what we do. Become a single donor or as a group, go to lmctv.org. The only piece missing is you.
We have several events from around town. Julia Alcoba received the St. Patrick's Day Parade Scholarship from the Sound Shore Parade Committee. The committee recently presented her with a check at Sedona Tap House. Middle school students, families, friends, and teachers are invited to talk about vaping on Wednesday, June 13th at 6:30 p.m. at St. Vito's Gym in the French American School, 145 New Street. The Larchmont Fire Department will host a blood drive next Thursday, June 14th from 1 p.m. until 6 p.m. at 120 Larchmont Avenue. And on Monday, June 18th, the Food Compost Program comes from Mamaroneck Village, joining the town and Larchmont as they turn food scraps into compost that can help gardens retain moisture, kill plant disease, and minimize the need for fertilizers. It's time for Pet of the Week, provided by Pet Rescue. Rainbow is named after her unique multicolored fur. She loves people and would rather play than cuddle. Rainbow would do well as an only cat in a family with older children who can provide her with a stimulating environment. Rainbow can be visited at the Kitty Cottage at Pet Rescue if you want to see how beautiful and fun she can be. Sunny is a sweet senior rat terrier who came to Pet Rescue from Texas due to Hurricane Harvey. Sunny is a gentle old soul who prefers cuddling and hanging out around family. Sunny would do best in a home with someone who's often home during the day. For more information on Rainbow or Sunny, or if you want to view any other pets that have recently arrived, please visit ny-petrescue.org. We're always looking for new volunteers and interns to help us produce the newscast, and we love hearing from our viewers. Email comments and inquiries to thelocallive@lmctv.org. A reminder that if you missed all the fun at our annual award night, there will be an encore tonight at 9:30 p.m. on Channel 75, on Optimum, or Channel 36 on Verizon. You can also watch it on demand at lmctv.org or on YouTube. Thank you for watching The Local Live. I'm Maral Kethwari, and we'll see you next week. Good night.